I think we should talk about the charge plates.
Yes, the charge plates. We have two different kinds.
Okay.
Right, and the reason why we've got two here, because we sell these things in some of our special offers that you'll see are like sets of two. So if you wanted to get like a set of two of the bronze colored charge plates, what would you use that for? Well, the biggest thing that I love about these charge plates is the use for the fridge. You take one of these and you put this in your fridge, and it turns your entire refrigerator into an Orgone accumulator box. What does that do? It preserves all your food. So what I have been noticing, and I was funny because I was talking to my mom about this the other day because she's got these in her fridge too. She says, I'm telling you, I don't throw food out anymore. Now, that's what we've been experiencing as well. So you know how like you leave something in the fridge too long and then you end up having that science experiment in the fridge, right? I haven't seen a science experiment in our fridge in a couple of years since we started using these. And what happens is that the Orgone energy, it kind of like merges with the shape of the refrigerator box. Yeah. Because you think in terms of like a capacitor, right? If you're into electronics and you have a capacitor, there's a shape and it's made out of metals and layers of like wood and cotton and plastic, right? There's there's a shape. Well, the refrigerator turns into like a big capacitor of sorts.
Yes.
And the Orgone in the refrigerator holds that the capacitor holds the Orgone energy in the refrigerator. I hope I'm explaining that the right way, but basically, it turns the entire thing into an Orgone accumulator box, and anything you put inside your fridge is covered with Orgone energy, which is basically the life-giving energy. So there's been some experiments that have been done, like this one lady put a video out there with a lemon, and she had two lemons. She had one lemon that was on a charge plate, and another lemon that was not on a charge plate, and then she did time-lapse photography over time.
It's like 30 days.
It was 30 days or something to see the decay rate of the lemon. And the first lemon gets all these bacteria and molds.
Turns green.
What happens when lemons rot, right? Yeah. But the other lemon that was on the Orgone charge plate did not rot. It stayed intact much, much longer, and it didn't actually rot at all. It just got a hard skin on the outside. It just kind of got hard, and then she cut it open, and the inside of the lemon was still like fleshy. Now this lemon should have been completely decomposed by this point in time, but it was held intact, and that's because the Orgone energy helps the lemon to preserve its life force energy. So it's like the fountain of youth for your produce.
Well said, yeah.
So that's basically what it's been like. Is when I go and I buy heads of lettuce from the grocery store or any of my fruits and vegetables, I put them in the fridge with the Orgone, or sometimes I'll just put the food like right on a plate, set it right on top of one of these, and it just preserves all of our food, and we never throw any food away. We don't have rotting food anymore. We can get through it. Because sometimes you buy a head of lettuce and you don't get a chance to make that salad, and then before you know it, you're throwing away the lettuce and you feel really, really guilty.
Yes, that's right.
Because especially if you're like trying to buy organic and it's much more expensive, right?
Yes.
So this will help you to save money because you're preserving your food longer, especially if you want to get the really good healthy stuff, the organic stuff. That's basically one of the main reasons I love these charge plates. Before we move on to the other one, somebody asked a question recently. They wanted to know if you have two charge plates, like how many should you put in the fridge?
Yeah, that's right.
And the answer, because it also turns your freezer into an Orgone accumulator.
Yes.
Now you can use, if you want, we have one in the freezer and one in the fridge because we make them and we have lots of them, right? And we're kind of like overdosing because we really love it. But you can just use one. You can just use one in the fridge, and if you have your typical fridge freezer connected unit, like a lot of people have, it'll turn the whole thing, the fridge and the freezer, into an Orgone accumulator. And you can see here's the really cool thing. You'll see it in your ice cubes. Because we do something called the ice test, where this Orgone plate, it creates a field. All right, so tell us about the ice test.
Right. So to test the strength of any Orgone product, even if you make it yourself, you get it from friends who make Orgonite or these Orgone products, the ice test is a way of recording the field strength or the field itself in the ice. It's a visual test, but a qualitative test that gets an idea of what that field looks like. So you create a liter of distilled water, no impurities in it. You put it in the freezer, in this case with the charge plate. You have it sit on top of the charge plate, and as the ice freezes, it creates a twisting tornado form, or something that looks like a mushroom cloud, like a three-dimensional explosion in the ice. Now that's the field being recorded in the water bonds of the ice itself. And this can be done on any Orgone composite-based products that people are creating to test the field strength. Also, what people are doing with their ice test is before they put the water in the plate in the freezer, they put some dye, color dye, in the water, and then so that when they put it in the freezer, as the ice freezes, that dye gets pulled into the center, into this vortex, and you're left with this three-dimensional, very colorful ice sculpture. And that is basically showing the field that all Orgone products create. And you get a very powerful field coming from our charge plates and any other things that you were to buy from us.
And you'll see it in the ice cubes in the freezer?
Yeah, so what this does the same thing with the ice cubes in the freezer. The bubbles become elongated. You get these spindles in the ice. Sometimes with the ice cubes, especially if you've got a charge plate in the freezer, the ice cubes form something called stalagmites. It's like these little spires pop out of the ice. They can't be explained other than the field is creating them as the ice freezes, and they stack up on top of each other. And sometimes your ice, you'll get a little stalagmite pointing up out of the ice. It's bizarre. But,
well, we have pictures of all of these things, so
yes,
we're going to be laying the pictures over the film so you guys can see it as well. The way I think about it is I just kind of look at everything in our world from a cellular and energetic level, right? Because we know that the way our bodies are made up, we've got nerve centers, and there's little communications, little electronic communications that go from nerve to nerve, and the way that cells are made and the way that energy works. And just if you're watching plants grow, that's why we'll talk about the garden stones in a bit, because Orgonite does wonders for your plants and your gardens. But you can really see the Orgone field effects when you're looking at things like plants, or even like animals. Animals are really sensitive as well to energy fields. For example, you know how before there's an earthquake, the animals can sense the earthquake, and sometimes your pets will start acting really weird. And then right after they act weird, later on that day, there's some kind of an earthquake. That happened with me. We were in an earthquake once, and our cats, and this is a long time ago, but our cats, they sensed the earthquake like 5 to 6 hours before it actually hit. We had no idea that it was going to hit, but the cats started acting very strange, and they started hiding underneath the bed. They never did that, and they were just really, really strange. And then all of a sudden, 5 hours later, there was an earthquake. So the animals can sense it. And let me tell you, the animals, we have 4 cats. We turned into cat people, right? Yeah. They kind of come with the territory in Morocco. But we have 4 cats, and we find our cats sleeping on top of the Orgonite all the time. They gravitate towards the Orgonite because there's an energy that they feel there, and they like it. It's good and it's calming, because you know how cats like to lay out in the sun, and they like to get heat and everything, because it's a healthy, good energy. It's the same way with the Orgone products. We always find them sleeping on top of a pyramid or on top of a charge plate, or even the sleeping pods, like they'll always sleep on top of the sleeping pods. So if you think of our world in its most basic energetic state, as far as the way everything is composed, you can start to understand that if you correct the energy, meaning the scientific energy around something. So, you know, if a plant is dying,
yes,
it's because there's something going on. You can see plants will die for all different kinds of reasons,
yes,
right?
That's right. Yeah.
But if you correct the energy, and then the plant will come back to life. So think about you, think about your body, think about your home, your children, your animals, your whole environment. If you correct the energy in your environment as far as positive, life-giving energy, instead of this dirty electricity that is really making a lot of us very sick, and we don't even realize that that's what it is. I didn't realize that's what it was.
Neither did I.
I was like, oh, you know, I always have a headache or whatever it is, and it's like, but you definitely want to think about it. Think about, well, how would I feel if I corrected that energy? Removed because you can't really get rid of the dirty electricity.
No.
You can't get rid of it because it's everywhere, right? But what you can do is you can create a shield around yourself and your home to correct the energy, and that's how this stuff works.